Good evening. Welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Kasuni Balachandra, and we at Rupavahini wish all the women out there a very happy Women's Day.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Charita Vinipurarachi, and let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news.
The President says that Sri Lanka sets an example to many other countries in the manner of treatment of women. The Prime Minister reiterates that every moment should be reserved on behalf of women's rights. Allowances for 20,000 families who have been occupying state lands without clear title deeds. Ape Game Ape Kade project, which provides a house and a shop in every Grama Niladhari division, commences. A statement denying of becoming infertile due to the inoculation of the anti-COVID Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. Reconstruction in the lower Giribava tank begins in response to the Gamasamaga Bilisandra program.
Moving on to those and other stories in detail. The International Women's Day falls today. The theme is She is a Country, a Nation and a World. Millions of women throughout the world, including the US and Germany, have been engaged in commemorating this momentous day today. This day was originally declared as the Day of the Women at the Socialist Women's Conference held in 1910. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that Sri Lanka has set an example to the world by the manner it is treating women. Treatment of women is a social index that indicates the genuine development of a country. He further says that women form the basis of any community or a family. The President in his message further says that the Saubhagya Dakma policy statement has given a pledge on the social and economic enhancement of womanhood. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa in his International Women's Day statement says that every moment in life should be reserved on behalf of women. It is a woman who elevates to the noble position of mother, daughter and wife. The Prime Minister has recalled the heroic roles played by women in history, including Vihara Mahadevi and world's first Prime Minister Sirimavo Bandaranaike. The Prime Minister's message further says that every woman should stay vigilant in the present-day challenging world. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa's International Women's Day message says in present-day context, the woman contributes enormously for economic development. Woman is the symbol of pride. He adds that they have come to the leadership of many countries in the world. The opposition leader also says the woman is actually bearing half of the burden in the world by fulfilling her tasks as a housewife, a mother, a spouse and a grandmother.
And meanwhile, Amma Varune artistic program in connection with the International Women's Day celebrations was held at the Independence Square premises in Colombo today. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has presided over the event. The program has been created on a concept of State Minister of Women and Child Development, preschools and primary education, school infrastructure facilities and educational services Pial Nishanta. Launching of the Vanitha Vasana Bank card introduced by the People's Bank in parallel with the International Women's Day have also taken place. Presentation of sanitary equipment and sterilization procedures of schools has also been conducted on this occasion. The Mahasangha, headed by the Chief Incumbent of Abarame, Nara Himpita, and Chief Sanganaik of the Western Province, Venerable Buruttetwe Anandathera, Madam Shiranti Rajapaksha, Ministers Professor G.L. Piris, Dinesh Gunawardena, Dr. Ramesh Pathiruna, State Ministers, parliamentarians and government officials have also graced the occasion. An International Women's Day commemoration ceremony was also held at the Independence Square grounds in Colombo today. Chief guest of the event, organized by the Minister of Sports, was Madam Shiranti Rajapaksha. Ms. Limini Rajapaksha was also present at this occasion. Several exercising programs have also been conducted.
families who had been in possession of government lands without clear ownership started receiving grants under the patronage of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today at the Presidential Secretariat. The government's objective is to ensure that every family owns a land with undisputed ownership as envisioned in the National Policy Framework Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor. Under the provisions of the Land Development Ordinance and the State Land Ordinance, grants will be awarded to 20,000 persons based on legal criteria covering the entire island during the first phase of the program. Program prioritizes low-income families whose livelihood is cultivation. The government intends to empower and encourage them by providing with ownership rights to their lands in order to increase their level of income. The recipients of these lands can use them to build a house, for agricultural purposes, for other crops and business activities. It is expected to strengthen the national economy with the contribution made by the recipients of these lands via effective and full utilization of them. The grant awarded by the President is considered a deed indicating undisputed ownership of the specific land. The beneficiaries of this grant can obtain a bank loan placing them as collateral. The President stated that he expects to issue 100,000 ownership grants before the end of this year. President Rajapaksa presented grants to 19 persons representing all provinces to symbolize the launch of the program today. The program is jointly carried out by the Presidential Secretariat, the Ministry of Lands and the Ministry of Mahabali. Minister S.M. Chandrasena, State Minister Siripala Gamlat and Anuradha Jayaratna, Secretary to the President P.B. Jayasundara, Principal Advisor to the President Lalit Veeratunga and secretaries and officials of line ministries were also present at the occasion.
And in a local update of the COVID-19 pandemic, Professor Nilika Malavige of the University of Sri Jawaharlandapura says that vaccination of the anti-COVID Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine will not delay to infertility. The AstraZeneca vaccine has so far been provided to 729,562 persons under the COVID-19 inoculation program. The vaccination program has been carried out for the 39th day today. 5,284 persons were vaccinated yesterday. A vaccination program has been carried out at the Kirulapana West Pharmacy today. A prominence was given on this occasion to inoculate persons over the age of 60 years and those with special needs. The Colombo Municipal Council has provided opportunities for the general public to receive COVID-19 vaccine by allocating times through e-channeling services. The number of recoveries from COVID-19 has reached 82,513. It is a percentage of 96.11. Another 2,837 patients are continuously undergoing treatment. 3,566 have left the hospitals from the beginning of this month after recovering from the virus. Another 454 fully recovered persons have left hospitals today. Another 157 COVID-19 patients were detected in the island today. 11,172 PCR tests have been conducted yesterday. A total of 2,193,335 PCR tests have been conducted so far in the country. Bodies of 7 persons who died due to corona affliction were buried in Ottamavadi in Baticular today. Accordingly, 31 COVID burials have so far taken place. Minister Professor G.L. Piri says a decision will be taken regarding reopening of schools in the Western Province on the recommendations of the Director General of Health Services. 149 Sri Lankan nationals who were unable to return to the island due to COVID-19 disease expansion have returned last night from the Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport. The group was directed to relevant quarantine centres through the intervention of the Army.
A circular issued by the Secretary to the Ministry of Public Services, Provincial Councils and Local Government, J.J. Ratnasiri, informs all government institutions that all officials in the state sector are to be convened for services as usual with effect from today. The President's Secretary has earlier issued several circulars on the instructions to be followed by heads of state institutions to control expansion of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Secretary to the Ministry further points out that all health instructions to be adhered for the protection of government officials and the general public will have to be continuously followed other than restrictions on deployment of staff as stipulated in these circulars. The circular adds that heads of institutions are being entrusted with the responsibility on the provision of services while preventing the affliction of COVID-19 disease on institutional staff as well as on service recipients. Accordingly, the Secretary points out that leave procedures of state employees will have to be carried out according to normal regulations with effect from today. Restoration of the Pahalagiri Bhava commenced under the instructions of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today. The villagers requested the president to renovate the tank during the discussion with the village program held in the Veragala Grama Niladari division, Giribava Division Secretariat in the Kurunegala district. Following the directives of the President to expedite the reconstruction of the Sri Lanka Land Development Corporation commenced the renovation of the tank immediately. The Giribava covers an area of 64 hectares. It supplies water for cultivation purposes of the lands belonging to 250 families. Due to the dilapidated state of the tank, farmers could only cultivate 2 seasons. The reconstruction of the tank is expected to be completed soon and provide water for the cultivation purposes of all 3 seasons.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has instructed the relevant officials to provide the kerosene subsidy to the beneficiaries without any misappropriation. Accordingly, a methodology targeting recipients including farmers and fishermen is scheduled to be prepared. The Cabinet Subcommittee appointed to redraft on fulfillment of the fertilizer subsidy and harbour and airport development tax on crude oil has met for the first time under the leadership of the Prime Minister today. The subcommittee has been appointed according to a Cabinet memorandum of the 5th of February 2021. Attention has also been focused at the meeting held at the Ministry of Finance on the provision of the kerosene subsidy. The Prime Minister has instructed State Minister Ajit Rivad Kabral on this occasion to discuss with the state banks and the central bank on the possibility of securing loans by the Petroleum Corporation from state banks in rupees instead in dollars. Other members of the ministerial subcommittee, Minister Uday Gammangpila, Dalasalaha Peruma and Prasanna Ranatunga have also attended the meeting.
A program to construct a house and an adjacent business place while engaged in the development of a road in every Grama Niladari division has got underway today. Accordingly, the program has commenced centering on the districts of Colombo, Kalathara and Anuradhapura in parallel to the program to develop 100,000 kilometers of roads throughout the island. The project has been named as Ape Game, Ape Khade. The program is being implemented targeting to uplift economies of low-income earners in all Grama Niladari divisions in the island. There are 14,022 such divisions in Sri Lanka. Nearly 4 million rupees will be spent on each house and shop. A foundation stone has been laid for a house and a boutique in the Meegodadeniya Grama Niladari division in Homagama today in the presence of Minister Dr. Bandula Gunwardana and State Minister Nimal Lanza. The inauguration program in the Kalathara district took place in North Payagala Grama Niladari division in Beruwala under the leadership of Minister Johnston Fernando. State Minister Piyal Nishanta and Parliamentarian Sanjeev Edrimannu were also present on this occasion. The Anuradhapura district inauguration program has taken place at the Duramadalava Grama Niladari division in Mihintale. State Minister Shehan Semasinghe has presided over the event.
The funeral of the veteran media person and head of sports division of the ChannelEye Rupavahini Corporation, Palitha Senarath Yapa, has taken place at the Talawatuguda General Cemetery today. Yapa, who was included in the first batch of trainee production assistant of the ChannelEye Rupavahini Corporation, had joined the corporation in October of 1983. He was the youngest member of the group. The late media man was born on the 10th of May 1964 and his education at Dhyananda College, Colombo. During his long association in the sports division of the national television, he was engaged in the production of many programs on local and international tournaments. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Dr. Nihal Chathilaka, and Director General Ajit Narugala, as well as other corporation officials, were present at the funeral ceremony. And with that, we conclude tonight's news. Do it just tomorrow at the very same time. Stay safe.
Good night.